Hi, this is Chris Jenkins along with Dustin Pfeiffer. We're at Moorhead Tavern where we're going to have our Panthers post-game recap. Unfortunately, as you guys may know by now, the Panthers lost today, a close one in the final seconds. We're going to go over a game recap, just a quick game summary, then Dustin's going to get into some detailed analysis. There was no scoring in the first quarter. Second quarter got underway with scoring by the Bills with a field goal, followed by a touchdown from Cam Newton and Greg Olsen late in the second quarter.
Yeah, and just to stop you there, Chris, I mean, the first touchdown for the Panthers was a great drive and a 2-minute drill to end the half for the Panthers. The offense had kind of been struggling early on, but they were able to get a drive going, and Cam found Greg Olsen with a nice 20-yard touchdown to get them on the board before the half to give them the lead.
Started the second half, the Bills got on the board again first with a field goal, followed by a nice pass to Ted Ginn from Cam Newton for a 40-yard touchdown there.
Another great a touchdown by the Panthers. It kind of seemed like after that touchdown in the first half, they got a little bit of a rhythm. Ginn had got open a few times deep, and Cam had missed him. Well, this time he didn't miss. He found Ginn wide open in the end zone for a 40-yard touchdown, and that extended the Panthers' lead to 14-6 in the third quarter.
The next score was a touchdown by the Bills to end out the third quarter. Fourth quarter really turned into a field goal fest. Panthers came out with, they got two nice field goals from Gano, followed by another field goal by the Bills, and then again another field goal by the Panthers. So
yeah, Gano was 3 for 3 on the day, so perfect in kicking. So he did a good job. But you talking about a field goal kicking contest kind of shows the story of that fourth quarter where neither team could capitalize and really find the end zone to take the momentum in this game.
Yeah, and then why don't you go ahead and Dustin. The Bills won. They closed it out with a touchdown in the final seconds. It was a pass to Johnson from Manuel, and that eventually led to the Bills win and the Panthers starting out 0-2.
Heartbreaking finish for the Panthers. It's kind of become the motto for this team over the past 2 seasons. Basically over now, this is going to be the third year under Ron Rivera. They just can't close out close games. And you talked about it, field goals back and forth, but the Panthers had a 23-17 lead. Going into that final drive, the Buffalo Bills have no timeouts with 1:48 left. They got a rookie quarterback who hasn't done a whole lot the entire game. And the Panthers kind of dropped back in prevent defense, and that allowed Manuel to just pick apart the defense, throw some short passes over the field. The Bills were able to get out of bounds and stop the clock. And like you said, they drove it all the way down to the 2-yard line with just under 10 seconds left. And Manuel was able. The quarterbacks got crossed up for the Panthers. Norman didn't know who was supposed to have who. Captain was talking to him. DJ Moore was in the play. And E.J. Manuel was able to find a little fade route to Stevie Johnson for the game-winning touchdown to give the Bills a 24-23 win in the final 2 seconds. So, I mean, a lot of Panthers fans were sitting on their couches going, here we go again, and it happened again. The Panthers lose a heartbreaker.
Yeah. Now, you guys may or may not know, but Dustin's much more passionate about what happens in the game. And how are you feeling about this loss today?
I'm very frustrated right now. We go and we do this reporting and analysis on the teams, but we like to engage our fans and followers, and we know how the fans feel. You know, we're football fans and we're sports fans, and to see this same story keep playing out over and over again with this team. If you wanna talk about stats, I mean, the Panthers are now 2-14 under Ron Rivera in games decided by 7 points or less. That is absolutely terrible. And I mean, it just keeps happening with this team. They find ways to lose games. I mean, it even happened last week when they had a chance to run the ball into the end zone and D'Angelo fumbles. It was a really close game. Now this week, they have the lead and the defense can't close it out. We saw it in Atlanta last season where they gave up a bomb out of the Atlanta's own end zone to help the Falcons go on and win with no timeouts. So I don't know what it is with this team, but it's becoming a trait with them where they just don't have it inside them to win those close games. And you have to look at the whole entire team as a whole, not just one side of the ball, of what it takes to win games, especially in NFL and close games. And right now, this team does not have it. And for me, it falls back on the coaching staff.
So it seems like the same story
over and over again.
Yeah, you kind of think that, you know, with the close call with Rivera at the end of last season and the new general manager this year, that he might be on the hot seat. But we like to engage our fans, and we did out there on Twitter ask a question about who do you blame for the loss. And Dustin's going to comment on what kind of feedback we got from that. I think there was just a few responses that came in.
I'm telling you, our timeline was blowing up, and we love that. We appreciate the fans and followers, and we talked with them all game long throughout the game about how the game was playing out, and fans saw that it was a back-and-forth game, and it was going to be another close one. And we asked them at the end of the game, who do you blame most for this loss?
Seems like Rivera's was it?
Rivera was the number one answer. We even had some hashtags on Twitter that said "Fire Rivera." So I think the fans are basically, even though it's only 2 games into the season, it's the 3rd year for Rivera, and it's the same stuff happening. So I think they're kind of fed up with that and ready for a change. You talked about the new general manager, Chris. Well, they had a chance. Normally when an NFL team brings in a new general manager, they start with a new coaching staff.
Right.
But they decided to stick out with Rivera. They thought that in his 3rd year he had learned some things and can improve this team. But honestly, I don't know if he's learned some things. That's honestly coming from me because, again, we're talking about it's the same thing over and over again. You're supposed to learn from those experiences and build them and make adjustments, and they're not making the adjustments. And like I said, we got a ton of feedback from our followers on Twitter after the game, even one from Cindy here, who she says, coaching leadership staff is totally responsible for today's loss. It should not even have happened. So that's just kind of some of the tweets we're getting from the fans. And again, it's only 2 games into the season, but the panic button is in full force. These fans are really worried about this team.
We got 2 more questions, which we actually got to run through a little quick. Dustin's mad at this loss today, but we'll continue the conversation that we can't finish here on the video on Twitter. We're always going to be responding to you guys. Can this team recover? What was the consensus out there?
The consensus of this team cannot recover. And I actually come in, like I said, I believed in this team. I picked them last week on our predictions for a playoff spot. And now 2 weeks in, it's hard to give up on a team after 2 games. But when you've seen it happen over and over, I just don't know if this team can recover. Let's not forget, this team has the hardest schedule in the NFL. So you play a team like Buffalo, who's got a rookie quarterback, lost their first game, has been known for losing almost more than the Panthers had the last few years. That's a game you need to win on that schedule when you've got hard games lined up with New England here on Monday night. You just played Seattle. You got the Giants coming in next week, who are known to be a winner. The Giants are playing right now. If they go 0-2 against the Broncos today, they're going to be desperate for a win. So you're going to come home and you're going to play a desperate Giants team. And that's scary. So the consensus from the followers out there that they don't see this team recovering under this coaching staff. I mean, we go back to the coaching staff. They think as long as this coaching staff is here, it's going to be the same story over and over again. So what I look at is after this Giants game is the bye week. So if they go and they lose this game to the Giants and they go 0-3, I personally think that they will fire Rivera in that bye week even after 3 games because you can transition to an interim coach during that bye week. I know it's hard to say that after 3 games, but I really think if they go 0-3, you could see a change like that happen.
All right. And real quickly, last question, biggest concern. What did you hear out there about the biggest concern for the team?
Man, I think the biggest concern, there's actually, and the sad part about it is there's a couple of things that you can look at, and the fans, they went from the coaching staff, like we talked about. They went to the offensive line, who gave up 6 sacks today. I mean, they gave up 4.5 sacks to Mario Williams. That's a franchise record for the Bills. So the guy was a monster, and the Panthers really could not protect Cam all day. So that was a really big area of concern. The other area of concern, when we talk about coaching staff, we've mainly been talking about Ron Rivera, but we got to look at the new offensive coordinator, Mike Shula. He has been known to be a conservative play caller. We showed it in the first week. We didn't throw the ball downfield a lot. We took some more shots downfield this week, but we didn't have a consistent game plan. We ran the ball well with D'Angelo last week, and then we come out in this game, we throw the ball 75% of the time. I've already looked at the stats. 75% of the time we threw the ball, and we only ran the ball 25% of the times. That's not enough balance.
I'm going to have to pause you there. So we're running out of time today, but as you can see, again, Dustin's, if you want to continue conversations, we're always going to be on Twitter, Facebook, and we could love to continue these conversations with you guys. I'm always in the locker room throughout the week. I can't wait to see what the mood is like tomorrow when we go in there. We get to talk to Coach Rivera. I don't know if any of the players are going to be available. Certainly, follow us on YouTube, and you'll see my locker room update tomorrow when the Panthers do return. They do play they play New York next Sunday, so we'll be covering the game from there. So this is Chris Jenkins. I'm sorry, do you have any closing remarks? 10 seconds.
10 seconds, closing remarks. They come back home next week, and if there ever was a must-win game, it's going to be next week. Like I said, if they don't win against the Giants, who knows what's going to happen with this football team.
Do you think they win?
Honestly, right now, I don't think they win. I mean, I literally think that they just don't have what it takes to win football games right now, and this could really get disastrous over the season.
All right. So I'm Chris Jenkins, along with Dustin Pfeiffer. We're at Moorhead Tavern. We'll thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Sunday.